We're speaking with Stephen Reid from Michell Wool. Welcome back, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
Now, we had a lot of offerings going into the market this week, possibly too much supply. Was that the case, or did we see a reasonable outcome on the pricing front?
No, good outcome, surprisingly strong outcome actually, but it was a pretty solid week in terms of volumes. That's 49,000 bales offered. Market closed up 6 cents on the indicator in Aussie, or up actually 8 cents given the exchange rate move. And that was right across the board. Super fine wools up 25 to 30, medium merinos up 10 to 20, crossbreds finally going up, even if only 5 cents, and oddments are up 5 to 10. So surprisingly good week.
What's going on there? Is it the old adage, bird in the hand's worth two in the bush? It's sort of better to have the stock so you can move it, or is I thought we were stuffed full of wool all over Australia's logistical chain.
Well, the global logistic chain's a mess. You can't get vessels. If you did get a vessel, you can't get a container. If you did get a container, you can't get the wool through the dump because they're full, and then you're struggling to get wool out of brokers' warehouses and even our warehouses here at Salisbury are jam-packed. So that whole supply chain is jamming up. And that global logistics issue, and now the domestic logistics issue is just getting worse. Fuel surcharges for domestic transport companies have doubled in the last couple of days, and that'll be passed on to international freight rates again. So that underlying concern that the trade has that the whole pipeline's bound up would be the technical term, hasn't changed, and it's possibly going to be getting worse in terms of cost.
Yeah, but the market didn't seem to be too worried about that this week.
Exactly right, Ricky, and I think you hit the nail on the head, and I didn't want to pay you too much credit, but all commodities are going up, cotton's going up, man-made fibres are going up. I think you're right. People are saying let's step on a bit of a commodity, and wool's a pretty handy commodity to have. It doesn't perish. So I think it is. Let's step in and buy it while it's there. There are some concerns that some of the wool for the balance of the season is going to be pretty heavy with colour, pretty heavy with burr. Given the rains we've had, the change of season, there's a lot of tender wool around. So we're getting close to the end of what you'd call some of the premium quality wools, and they don't come back on the market until August, September. So there is a little bit of that in the background as well.
All right, and are we seeing buying activity from our regular visitors that come into the auctions? Is that slipping back a bit as things get a bit warmer in the Northern Hemisphere and get a bit cooler here?
Well, it's still China dominates, and that's a given, and that's not going to change for quite some time. They've got the processing capacity that the rest of the world hasn't, but their percentage is actually slipping down. And we're seeing Italy in particular, and to a lesser extent India, really stepping up. Italy's having a fantastic year in terms of volumes, and it's great to see them. It's one of the premium processors of wool, and they've been doing it for decades and decades, and probably centuries actually. But they seem to be picking up. So we are seeing a bit more balance from a sovereign risk point of view coming into the market, which is good to see.
Now, with a bit of a surprise outcome on the market this week, has there been any adjustment in terms of the amount of bales put up on offer, or even how much was pulled back during this week?
Well, nothing was pulled back. It was 49 was actually put up, and 49 is what we got. Next week they're talking 48.5 rostered. It's only a Wednesday, Thursday sale. Monday's a public holiday in Melbourne, also in South Australia. Not that we're that relevant in the scheme of things in terms of auctioneering wool, but I suspect every one of those 48.5 bales will come up, and I suspect the pass-in rate will be relatively low. Obviously, owners of wool growers are reading the market and listening to the news, and they've probably picked up that adage, why not turn it into cash?
Yeah, so you mentioned there, nothing much passed in. When was the last time we had so little passed in at an auction?
Oh, I'm the wrong side of 50, so I can't remember that far back, but I don't think I've seen under 5% for years and years and years. So that's quite a significant dot point to note, 2.1% passed in this week.
Yeah, well, I was calling it, when we do our beef report, I was calling it beef coin last year, the great beef prices. We might just have to call it ag coin. I think across all the commodities, people are doing pretty well on the land.
Well, if you get some spare time, you can launch that crypto type, and we'll all make a squillion, I'm sure.
I think we are already. Stephen, thanks for joining us today. Much appreciated.
Absolute pleasure, Ricky. Have a good weekend.